Hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. Welcome back to the Diversity 3 DevCom you never thought you were gonna ever receive. I'm here with Kwa, the I can't say it.
The1Kwa1Jsucsh coming at you live from the Kwa1 Islands.
Demented dude. We went over that in a previous episode. So today we're moving on to I call them the Kwa1 Islands, the beautiful Mausoleum hub and all this sort of stuff. We got a special treat because we got like the build process evolution of how this come. We're going to get into that. But Kwa here is the main builder for almost all of this, except for my tiny little touches here. I'd say like 99% of this. And the cool thing is, anybody who loads this map to begin with, that's your work they're seeing, anybody.
Right,
you are the first thing they see.
Like the first thing,
yeah. And the first thing they
play
see.
the map. Not everyone finishes.
No, they like that. So I'm blaming you if they didn't finish. Actually,
oh, okay.
Now. I could think about it. And the first thing I ever revealed, and I think the first thing in the trailer, like you're the first thing in everything on this map. The pressure's on.
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's go check out. You want to go check out the other world there?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, this is going way, way back because I think this is 2017. This was my original vision. I don't know, of the map of all these little things here. I think I even had. I don't know if you ever got this, Bill, but I had commands that made the thing actually work, but it's not in this map. But you can see it's quite a bit different in the end product. I knew I wanted to have this inside like a mausoleum. And so I went on Planet Minecraft and I found this floating island with a mausoleum and I started tweaking it. Yeah, I was like stealing this guy's work and I come up with this. And this originally was kind of what I was working with, and I just didn't like it. It's too much quartz, and that's when I contacted you. That's exactly when I contacted you, and I showed you this, and I said, so I kind of stole this, and I've DM'd the guy to see if I could use it. He hasn't got back to me, but I don't really want to use it, and you said, I agree. I think you said. So this is kind of where I left it off with you, and then you started working on it. So what was the process there?
Right. Well, the first thing I did is I said, what is this building? What makes this building, right?
Yeah.
So I knew we wanted to have the monument in some sort of round arc thing.
Yeah.
And then we have the mausoleum. We have this kind of bird cage figure. So I started with this birdcage design, and then I said, all right, let's have a dome. A dome would be cool, right? Glass dome.
Yeah.
Built that in here. And you can see this one corner is different glass than the others. And that's because I built it pretty much 1/4 at a time and used World Edit Fancy Tool in game to flip everything around. And
What's
these
the pink
pink blocks.
Yeah.
So I used another tool called CS Rotate, which is in game, which pretty much takes something and rotates it fixed points around. So you could rotate buildings or something like that, and it kind of keeps the shape but off axis. So a very similar thing. And then once I rotated that around, I built these arches.
Okay.
And then I had that. Then the next thing was, well, we need to put some walls in here. So I started off with glass walls and then this sort of fence figure in here. The problem with this design as it was is that the glass is not great, right? Not phenomenal yet. So I'm like, well, what if we like move that up? We have an upper glass layer and then I do something else at the bottom. Next one.
Yeah.
Finally added this bottom piece.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I see. A lot.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking I had kind of Colosseum inspiration here.
Yeah.
I was like, what if we had the warriors come in on different sides or something to do whatever they had to do to come to this great monument. And then in the next one, that kind of came into play.
Yeah,
I added
now we're
these
starting
3
to see
different
it.
openings, which we're starting to look like what you see in the actual map.
Yeah.
Starting to get there. Lots of work to go.
And then you were kind of incorporating my annoying platformy thing in the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I love the way it turned out. Just the quartz didn't. I loved quartz, but it didn't feel right for it. I'm really glad that we decided to take that out.
Right. And this stage here is the first stage of the ruin. So the last one, I kind of completed the structure.
Right.
And then I was on a quest of how can I destroy this? Next stage, all right, let's cut out these glass walls. Started cutting out all of that. Yeah. And then
obsidian.
Obsidian, yes.
What's that one for?
So when I was cutting things out, I didn't want to over splatter on anything important.
Right.
And if there was anything that couldn't have extra stuff, it was around the wall. And you told me how it worked when people were on here and they got hit, or you needed some detection region or something like that. You needed 3 blocks from each side.
Yeah, it would shoot you back, and I had to keep that in mind because it would get trapped in the wall if we didn't have that space.
Next one, started playing with textures.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added
adding these...
some glass in there. So then we start with the vines. Yeah. And I did these by hand for the most part. Yeah, I just want them weaving in and out. Someone told me, I forgot who it was, like, so you used some plugin for the vines. I'm like, no, I just did it with my hand.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff I do with tools.
Yeah.
The vines I did by hand. And then I replaced these with leaves in the next version and added some in-game vines.
Yeah, which was a pain in the butt because vines changed their code in 1.12 to 1.13, and a ton of them got destroyed because it didn't convert properly or something. It's really cool seeing the evolution of how this thing gets developed, and we're still keeping this.
Quartz.
Keeping the quartz there.
Right. And even this would be the last version that I used. Yeah. Which I might have sent this to you initially, but then I put it on the islands directly.
Oh, I think so. The first time I got it was on the islands. So yeah, this is all. I hadn't seen this by itself except by pictures.
And actually, I remember as soon as you told me about the mausoleum idea, I was like, what the heck is a mausoleum? So I was Googling. And I kid you not, later the night, my dad is like, hey, I was going through some old stuff. I found this book about mausoleum architecture. You want it? I'm like, yeah. I have it right behind me now.
What in the world?
It was just magic. It all came together. Right. I don't think I read it, but I looked at pictures and nothing looked like this.
Yeah.
But what a coincidence. And if we fly way, way back to the beginning, I also put in a super early version of the Kwa1 Islands.
Okay, so this is like your first island design. I remember we were talking about this, and you were going to do pathways. Not that these were going to be the blocks left over. This is kind of like a kind of marking the areas. Mm-hmm. And you can see it's a lot different because you had these arches here originally. And actually, is this smaller or is it the same size as what it is?
I think it's the same size.
It just seems smaller because you don't have all the vegetation surrounding it.
One of the things we talked about a lot was how are you going to get to these islands?
Yeah.
Everything's on islands. You have to have a way to get there. If we just had regular bridges, it's going to be pretty boring.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're thinking of is, well, what if we had something representative of the branch?
Right.
Pink is parkour. That one was easy. Ting, 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 ting.
Yeah.
Obviously, the position of the islands changed, but that idea was there, and the rest we'll get to later.
Yeah, we'll go into the new world, but it was interesting. You came up with this idea of the arches going here, and I think it was me and maybe I don't remember who else was there at the time. We were kind of saying like, we don't really need these arches on the island. On the main island, because you can walk up and you can see, oh, I want to get over there. How do I get over there? But what was your thought behind putting these ones here?
These ones. So I wanted some sort of link between, like, a linear path.
Right.
So this is orange here, that's orange there. And then I also wanted this central island, I wanted to be a bit more decayed than the other ones. That's why these arches are super broken. The other ones are pretty intact.
Mm-hmm. They all had a hole in the middle so the beacon could shine through, I think. Yeah.
Whatever the arch, I believe it's an Assassin's Creed. Again, it's in my head now. I don't know how to telepathically send it to you. I'll work on that technology one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like that arch design. I said, that's like cool.
Okay, let's go back over to the main, like the actual finished world. Okay, just like that, snap.
Oh, snap.
That amount of time you took what you built in that demo world, and then you created all of this.
That's right.
Excellent work. This was actually the first thing I ever showed on any reveal of the map. Your work, like we said, this little section here didn't leave this section. People saw it, and I hoped we came across, okay, this map is going to be big, because it's way more of an advanced build than anything we did before.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this. You know how many times people drop down here and they don't see this? I recently added, if you come over here, recently added this little thing. See? Isn't that a nice little touch?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that's just to get their attention. But anyway, you can grab it. Grab the wool there.
Okay.
And you bring it over here. And as always, in every diversity map, you put the wool into the chest. And it does a fake analyzing item. Now, originally, you actually had to wait for it to analyze because it went through hoppers. But it doesn't do that anymore. So this comes up. And bam! And I was very, very proud of my custom advancements. I was like so proud I figured out how to do that, because I don't know if a lot of maps had done that yet. There. And then we have a well, I mean, I got the, did you get the cheater advancement?
I did.
Yeah. That was the one. It was the secret advancements. So there's this thing where lightning strikes over here when you put that wool in. And the issue was, this is a little secret behind the commands here. When you insert the wool, because none of these outer islands are accessible yet, because we have to have the player understand, if they've never played a map before, they have to understand that they have to put wool inside a chest. It's kind of the tutorial. I had to make it so that it activates all these commands, and it would lag the server, or actually the game, like crazy in 1.13. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll make lightning strike, and the players will think, oh wow, the lightning lagged the server, to try and hide that it's actually the commands lagging it. So it was kind of masking it, but that was the reason for that. So anyway, you can see we no longer have the quartz on the floor. I believe that was your call.
Right.
I think I said
it was.
I don't want the quartz. Just do something, make it look good. And you added these like little kind of broken areas, which was so cool. And these are stairs.
Yeah, stairs and slabs.
There's this little technique.
It's a great effect for the ruin.
You added this fountain. Why did you? It didn't have the drains at first. We added that after.
Right.
But well, why did you add the fountain? Just for a different look?
I think just to break it up. There's so much stone, right? Let's add some blue in here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good look. You don't actually think it has much of a purpose when you first come here, which is exactly what we wanted. So you go and you build all these, like you cover this place with vegetation. The vines I had to redo. Oh, these things. These guys.
Yes.
You were so proud of these.
The special vines.
I remember you said to me, you're like, what do you think of those? I'm like, they're cool. What are they?
Right. They're actually sunflower stumps.
Where did you get that idea?
I seen it in another build, I said, you can't
on
do
YouTube. I saw it on YouTube.
that. I said, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can.
It's so
And you can do
cool.
these with any of the plants too. Any of the 2 block plants.
Yeah, well, only if you do this game. You have to do game rule, random tick speed. You have to do it at 0 because if it's not at 0, I'm pretty sure they'll all completely just destroy.
Right. Yeah, that's the trick.
And again, like when we were talking about the cave, it's like we gotta put something here. What are we gonna do? Like, they can't just have nothing here. It's like the older maps. You remember the older maps where they go find all the diamonds?
Mm-hmm.
I was originally thinking of doing that, and I remember sitting there we had a Discord group, and I'm like, "What do you guys think about this idea? What if we had spoiler? Don't tell anybody. A secret branch." And everybody's like, "Secret branch? What do you mean?" I'm like, well, we got this really cool build. If we hide things around here, give them a really cool reward, it would be like an actual map. And so the whole reason that is there is because you made this crazy build that was so big that we had to put something in it. I don't know if you knew that. That's why I wanted to do it.
I want to talk about the island design.
Yeah.
Want to give my credit out. You'll notice I have this like glass.
Yeah, people have seen the glass and the bedrock and stuff like that.
That's shout out from Kwa for the senpai, a builder friend of mine.
Oh, nice.
He did one of these, and then I said, "Hey, let me like recreate this,
right,
in a bunch of different islands." So
this one here, I wanted to tell. This was a really cool thing, but because the world would update, like it's floating water. You can see it doesn't actually go down. And I had to do something about that because I didn't want players to be able to like jump across to it. So this is where I discovered the structure void. I don't know if you knew this, Kwa, but it's covered with these blocks that actually stop water. It's really cool.
Oh.
And that's how I kept your design, because this is how you sent it to me in the schematic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it looks really cool. I just don't want the water to go down. So I'll get into a little bit more of the structure voids, like some of the ways we get over there. I use these. They're a really cool block because you can place it and you can't see it, but you can kind of detect players walking through them. But yeah, that'll be on another episode. So, and the other cool thing I really liked that you did was this arrow island that I don't think a lot of people notice. Now, the whole reason you did this is because
that island is so far away.
Yeah.
Most people can't see it.
The thing is, if you set so the minimum is 6 chunks. It actually works with 5 chunks, but like there's 6 chunks. You don't even know there's an island out there. So we had to like hint. And actually, the whole reason we put the island way out there is because at the time we were like, okay, we want to come up with different ways to get the islands. We had the elytra island, the elytra branch. We're going to make them use an elytra to get over there. But we don't want to give them the elytra to get to the other islands because that would defeat the purpose of like the trivia one getting over there. So we said it's got to be the lowest one, the furthest one out. That's what we decided on. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're like, okay, what if they have the render distance down? What are we going to do? And you built this. It's cool because it looks like a natural arrow. I don't know how you come up with that. I was so impressed.
Right. To be honest, I don't even know how I made it now.
Come on. It was only 3 years ago. You don't know?
I don't know. It looks like, let me put on my glasses a second.
Yeah.
It looks like I did some blobs. Like I had a bunch of rocks or something. Yeah. I just paste.
That's how it works. Blobs, rocks, pasting. Yeah, and then you fly over here. Yeah, very cool. I love this build so much. This is where, when you came on and you built this is where I had like an epiphany, and I'm saying, I had this idea. You took the idea out of my head, and you made it come to life, and I was jaw dropping the first time I loaded it. It's like, I can't believe you were able to do that. It like hit every everything that I was hoping, and it looks really great. And I was so lucky to have you on here to do this sort of stuff. I guess the only other thing I could talk about is how this monument works. I'll just give a brief rundown. You know what we could do? I can give myself wool and it'll do it again. So white wool. And I won't get too technical, but basically what happens is when I put an item in this chest, if I put something that's not a wool, it's not looking for it. As soon as I put a wool in there, it then activates a bunch of commands that knows, okay, we have white wool in there. It goes on a timer. And then as you see it, what's happening right here is this is that rose up there is a falling block, like kind of like gravel. And also the I'll do it again so you can see it. You'll see the iron bar and the wool is actually a falling block. Oh, it's gonna repeat all of this. Oh my gosh. We'll just cut this out. I'll come back. All right, so when I put this in, you're gonna see here, these are all blocks sort of like gravel, the lamp even. And then when they stop, they actually create the full block. Now this is an armor stand, invisible armor stand, which gets launched over there. And this is actually not a block. This is a... I'll break it below so people can see. It's a minecart. So you can actually take a...
Oh.
You can actually take... Sort of how like a minecart chest, a chest minecart works. You can take a block and with some commands, set it way high, as high as you want or below it, and make it look like it's spinning wool. Because I thought it'd be cool because blocks aren't supposed to spin. If you compare it to an actual block, like a wool block, you can see it's definitely not the same size. So it's not, but when you're looking at it, you can't really tell. The only other thing is that there is an invisible shulker. See?
Ah!
So that you can stand on it when you've put the wool in there. So if I do this, you can kind of see the magic happen there. Yeah, and it'll rise up here. And then that's the real block. And then if you're standing here, there's some command block magic that hurts you. Basically, when that happens, there is the minecart there, and there's the invisible shulker. So when you stand on it, your feet are touching the actual... It looks like you're standing on the wool. And I had to do that because if you did like a barrier, because originally I was going to use a barrier, because I wanted to have a hitbox so you couldn't like walk through it, not break the immersion. If you stand on a barrier, you'll see I'm actually above it, right?
Uh-huh.
And it wouldn't look like you're standing on the wool. That's why I had to use an invisible shulker. So anyway, that's kind of our talk about what, the Kwa1 Islands?
The Kwa1 Island.
The design behind it, a bit of the command structure. We'll go into, I think, the adventure branch next. So that'll be Adam with us. And
yeah.
Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We're gonna have. I'm hoping at the very end we have a big questionnaire for everybody, just sort of like whatever you want to ask. If we missed something, we'll go over that like in the finale episode. But that's quite a bit away. Anyway, until next time, Kwa, any last words?
I'll see y'all when I see you.
See y'all when you see it. Enjoy your Minecrafting and have a great day.
Bye-bye.